everyone, just me back again to introduce numeracy for this week. Before I get on to numeracy, I just want to thank you all for working so hard. Miss Walker and I are so impressed with the work that you've been getting on, and your parents have been keeping us up to date with sending us emails and photos and putting things on Facebook. So keep going, you're doing fab. For numeracy this week, we've got lots of things that we're going to do, but most of it is things that you've done before, so it's just retrieval. So I'm just going to remind you of some of those things. The first thing you're going to look at is number bonds for 10. So different ways of making 10. And we've done lots on this, so I know you'll be great. So we're very familiar with our whole part model. So I've got one here. If 10 is the whole, and 7 is a part, and 3 is a part, because these two numbers added together make 10. I've got a representation here a different way. So you can see I've got a tens frame. I've got 7 red and 3 blue, because 7 and 3 make 10. But we also learned a few weeks ago about if we know our number bonds for 10, then we can use that to find ways of making 20. So, do you remember this? If I bring another 10 in, a full 10, this now isn't just 7 add 3 makes 10, it's 17 add 3 makes 20, because I've brought in another 10 and 20 is 2 tens. If I show you, I'm always showing you with my arrow cards. So if we have 7 and 3 make 10, but watch, if I bring in another 10, 17 and 3 make 20. So you're going to be looking at that. The one thing that is a little bit new and you haven't really seen before is this bar model. So you're going to come across these. You're going to see lots of these rectangular shapes. But I want to show you how they are just like a whole part model that you are used to. So we've got this bar running across the top, which is our whole. So if I look on here, it says 10 is the whole. So if I put number 10 in there, and can you see underneath it's split into 2 parts. It's showing you that these two make 10. So 7 is a part and 3 is a part. Okay, so it's exactly the same. 10 is the whole, 7 is a part, 3 is a part, because 3 and 7 make 10. Just matches that. So I think you'll manage fine with those. Another thing you're going to look at are number lines. So I've got my number line here, and we need to remember with number lines, don't we, that we don't start jumping until we've started counting. So if we look at the first 6 add 3. So we know that we find a number 6 on our number line. I'm going to make a mark and I'm going to add on 3. So I'm going to add on 1, 2, 3, and I can see that the answer is 9. When we come to this one underneath, 1 add 11. Well, yeah, I could find number 1 and jump on to add 11. That's a lot of jumps, 11. So what I would want you to think about when you see something like this one here, remember addition can be done in any order. So 1 add 11 is the same as 11 add 1. That will be quicker. So I'm going to swap it around. I'm going to say, no, 11 add 1. It's 12. Saves me doing all of those jumps. So another thing we're going to do are fact families. Now, fact families are something that we have done lots on before as well. So let's just have a quick reminder. Let's use this whole part model again. So if I know that 7 and 3 make 10, so 7 add 3 equals 10. And I want to find another way of making 10. Well, I'll just swap those digits around. So 3 add 7 equals 10. Then I want to record some subtractions, some takeaways. Now remember, with a takeaway, we always have to start with the whole, the biggest number. So if I have 10 and I take away 7, you can see I'm going to be left with 3. If I have 10 and I take away the 3, I will be left with 7. So let's record those. So remember, start with that biggest number, 10. Take away 7 would equal 3. And 10 take away 3 equals 7. And I've got my 4 calculations to match this, a little family. Remember, we have found 8 ways before. If you want to find 8 ways, that would be brilliant. We can just start with the answer, remember, the whole at the beginning. So we can have 10 equals 7 and 3, 10 equals 3 and 7, 3 equals 10 take away 7, 7 equals 10 take away 3. That'd be fab. The last thing I want to share with you is you're going to have to find missing parts. So you might get a question, you might see something that looks like this. You might see a whole part model and it might show you the whole. It will show you the whole, and it's going to show you one of the parts, and your job is to find the missing part. So I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the whole, and I can see 2 is a part, and I have to work out what this one is. Now you might be able to do that in your head, so you might be able to say, well, 2, 3, 4, 5, that must be 3.